episode, like a gallon of milk, and then Vince Vaughn gives this monologue.
Nuts.
Okay, welcome back to The Horror. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nate.
On this episode, we're going into True Detective, Season 2, Episode 6 of 8. Woo! Let's get into this shit, motherfucker.
You know, for the first time, for the first review, if you've been listening to all of them, I think we're both pretty revved up.
We fucking have been hating on this motherfucker,
yeah.
But I am so fucking pumped now.
Searching for ways to like it.
Yep.
And when this episode faded out...
Yep.
Into the full moon, no less.
God.
I was like, I wish the next episode was on right goddamn now.
I was like, bring this shit on.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I disliked all the rest of them so much or whatever, but this episode, if it at least keeps up with what the level of excitement and just all the stuff we're going to get into, it might make me like the rest of it.
Yeah, and this is coming off probably my least favorite episode of the season.
I was hating on this shit,
and then
I was not looking forward to watching this episode. When it ended, I downloaded like 3 of the songs that played and kept watching the ending because I was like, this was so badass.
It was.
Because there was just something that they were all a unit now, and they all took on different, maybe not Taylor Kitsch, but I'm really a big fan of him after this episode.
Well, yeah, he's their heavy hitter.
Yeah, Rachel McAdams ends the episode with this look that says she is now different. Colin Farrell kind of like assumes this like, oh fuck, but I'm going to take care of all of you guys. And Taylor Kitsch is just, yeah, fuck it, dude, let's go bowling.
He's the hammer.
He just flips on the lights to their fucking Charger, like slings it out onto the road, full moon, fucking music playing. I was like, bring this shit on.
Yeah. Where have you been? Why did you make us wait this long to get awesome?
Yeah, I just had to get that out because I was fucking pumped. So we can start from the beginning. One of the things is, I believe the last episode, too, was written by a guy named Scott Laser and Nick
Pazzaluto.
We're getting episodes written by somebody else, so maybe somebody at the network is like, you ain't pulling your weight here, fucking Nick. So we're bringing somebody else. So we start off the scene. We knew that nothing was going to happen between the two because it was going to happen at the beginning.
Sure, Ray has a gun on Vince Vaughn, but
yeah, and Vince Vaughn has a gun on him.
Han Solo and Greedo, at the kitchen table.
And I have to say that this was like the first episode where I think Colin Farrell performance misstepped a few places. This scene was one of them. I think he was in another fucking episode.
Yeah,
he
was a little off in that scene.
Yeah,
and for that reason, the scene should have popped a lot more than it did.
Yeah, it should have, but I have to say Vince Vaughn picked up the weight very well, and the writing did too.
And this is unusual because every single episode,
it's been the Colin Farrell show,
right? And we've been singing his praises. He's amazing,
and he's not amazing in
this. But this was the first episode where he wasn't the only really great thing about it.
I thought all 4 of them pulled their fucking weight in this episode.
Yes.
But Vince Vaughn did a very convincing job of being so smooth, of talking him down, that I was like, I might believe this motherfucker if I was in the room with him too. And I do believe him. That's how fucking, if he's the devil, I would believe the shit that he just spilled. Plus, later on, we see the guy who supposedly did it, and he's fucking Mexican. Like, he's not the guy's son. I'm like, and when did we ever, like, hear that it's definitely not Colin Farrell's kid? Like, could it end up being Colin Farrell's kid?
It could, because he's been fighting paternity.
Right. But has there ever been a part where he's like, we didn't have sex for that whole year because we were fighting, or it could end up being his fucking kid, and he could get his happy ending, which would be really fucking awesome, I think, because that didn't dawn on me. I was just like, right, it's not his kid. Whose is it? It's like, oh shit, it might actually be. There were some nice lines in here, and I think Vince Vaughn, like I said, did a very good job, where he's like, you know what, you were always that person, fucking own it. He's like, I didn't make you kill, like, you had that in your mind before you met me, before you met your wife. That was in you. Fucking learn to deal with this shit and become a stronger person. And then has the same exact conversation in a different context with the little boy later, and I was like, this is fucking amazing, because then it also parallels that with Colin Farrell not being able to connect with his son. And I just love Vince Vaughn's thing where he's like, I'm gonna pull my hand up now, Raymond, do not shoot me. That was so fun and realistic. And he's like, we got to stick together on this because you just might be the only friend I have. And he's like, how fucked up would that be?
Yeah.
I love
And then I loved Mrs. Frank coming out of the bedroom with a gun. I like, it didn't really, I like that touch. It made her character that much cooler.
Yeah, it worked in character with her. She still kind of upsets me because I like Eden Lake, like I said, so much, and she's just playing the bitch wife character. Farrell, when he goes to see that guy, and all throughout this episode, he's Batman voicing the shit out of this. And someone even pointed out there, like, Taylor Kitsch is using the Batman voice too much. I'm like, what about fucking Colin Farrell? Yeah, when he talks to that kid, I thought Vince Vaughn did an amazing job with that. Moments in your life that split it down the middle, and then there's before and after. I have like 5 of those. This is gonna make you stronger and shit, and like brings a little boy to like crying and shit. And I was like, there's no reason he had to like go out there and do that. It's not that they're overly stating that he wants a kid. That's kind of, I guess, what they're going for, or whatever. It's just that he would do that. And like I said, the parallel to Colin Farrell's scene, I thought that was fucking amazing. So yeah, then it's like Rachel McAdams being fucking Rachel McAdams again, playing with her goddamn knives and shit.
You know, actually, while I was watching that scene, she's practicing stabbing a wooden dummy, basically practicing her knife fighting, and she's pretty revved up about it. And as she's talking with her sister, she actually, with a straight face, says the line, "I don't get art." And I just thought that she's probably focused on that dummy like it's Nick Pazzaluto for giving her a line like, "I don't get art," to deliver with a straight face, unironically, like in 2015. It's one of the, I don't get art. It's such like, and this is, as much as I love the episode, I had a half a dozen instances of like a really bad line. I'm just sensitive to it now after Blue Balls of the Heart. There were so many cliches woven in there, but it didn't matter because the show for once was actually going somewhere. It was actually not just glimpsing into the lives of these characters. It was giving these characters a story and something to do.
Yeah.
So in that context, a little bad dialogue here or there, that doesn't muck anything up. If the whole focus of the episode is just standing around and talking, your dialogue got to be spot on.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I didn't like that scene. I was like, oh, of course, she's all the same all the time. But she's doing this same move over and over. And her sister, at one point, I was like, all right, show, all right, fair enough. Is her sister's like, look, I've been here for 10 minutes and you haven't done anything but play with your stupid knives. Like, I'm not impressed, basically. Like, fucking do something else, which I liked a lot, where it was like, calls her out for being a badass and playing with knives and shit. Then they come up with the idea that she's going to infiltrate the
sex
party on the hill or whatever. And as they're going over it, I'm like, okay, I'm into this. Don't fuck it up. I'm into it. Because, like, you start seeing another side to her character because it starts intercutting, actually getting to the party with them talking about it. Their interplay between the three of them I thought was great. If Taylor Kitsch being a fucking badass, he's playing with her knife too, and she's just like looking at him, not saying anything, but it's like, don't touch my fucking knife.
Yeah, it's my knife, man. Come
yeah,
on.
exactly. And it was like, be cool, whatever. If I have to, I'll get in. And it was just like, yeah, bring on the pain, motherfucker. And then he's like, here's a tracking device, and Colin Farrell's like, put it somewhere where they can't find it, and she just looks at him. He's like your shoe, which I thought that was like, all right, that's pretty funny. And then it's like, don't stab anybody unless you have to. And then she's getting on the bus, and she actually looks hot, and she's showing a different side. I was like, oh, we're finally getting another side to her character, which kept going.
Yeah.
And kept going. Colin Farrell and fucking Black Ops start doing their thing.
They're storming the compound like it's
awesome.
like it's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie or something. You know, they're
awesome.
Sneaking past the guards and whatever. Oh, and as you said, Rachel McAdams got on a bus filled with hookers. A literal busload of hookers.
Like in The Social Network.
Yeah,
I bought it.
I love that. Like,
yeah,
you automatically get a +1 if you have a busload of hookers.
Right?
In your project.
Let alone, one of the notes I made for the episode was ass and titties.
Yeah.
Ass and titties, ass, titties, ass and titties. Because there was so much ass and titties in this episode. Like,
yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
Bit.
She walks into a fucking orgy and starts doing ecstasy as they're breaking in and whooping motherfuckers' asses and killing people, getting into this place. She is inside tripping on fucking ecstasy or something more.
Pure Molly.
With these, like, high-class motherfuckers just eyes wide shut. And that score was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That score was great. And what I loved about it is I already wrote down, I was like, but that music continues when Colin Farrell and Taylor Kitsch are doing their stuff. So it just added this like weird fantasy layer to this whole like mansion scene, which I thought was great. And then Rachel McAdams whooped so much fucking ass in this episode. Not only did she do a really good job, but her backstory starts coming in like these weird like flashes of imagery where she was like molested when she was a kid
by Charles Manson somehow in the 1970s.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever, man. I liked that Super 8 footage. I was like fucking Chainsaw Massacre and shit. Like I was into that. And then
no, I mean it looked cool, but it made it look 70s when like she had to have been molested in the 90s. You know, she ain't that old.
Sure. Well, do
anyway,
you still know what day and age is taking place in?
I just assumed it was now-ish.
I don't know, whatever. Okay, so yeah, that is kind of a problem. But I bought into it, whatever. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but being that it was high-class motherfuckers doing scandalous shit in a mansion, and one old dude kind of looked reminiscent of somebody, big horror fan, big fan of this movie, I was like, if somebody says, let the shunting begin, I'm fucking out of this motherfucker. Have you seen Society?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, if that, like, that shit is gross, freaky ass shit. But anyway, yeah, so it's all good. And the guy has, like, that creepy guy's like, there's a unicorn in the woods. You want to help me find? Like, I was like, oh, yeah. Putting that shit on a t-shirt. Like, that's some good, creepy first season type shit. Where it's just like, I don't like that. He kind of looked like, what's his name from Twin Peaks?
Oh, Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, you know,
anyway.
It's interesting since, you know, just since you mentioned it so vividly earlier with her just repeating that same knife move over and over and over and over
so
and over
badass.
again.
That was so well done.
And the way it came up later, it fit because she's tripping balls, but she's done it so many times it's just automatic.
Yep.
And
they said that scene that seemed like it was bullshit was setting you up so you completely got it and it didn't have to pause.
Now that's a great example of foreshadowing instead of the ham-fisted shit we usually get.
Yeah, which makes me hopefully think that maybe the show pays off a little bit better. But anyway, so that scene that was where I was like, bring this shit on.
Yeah.
Is she breaks like the one guy's wrist, kicks him in the fucking like balls hard, and then that huge motherfucker from like Dodgeball comes up, grabs her. She quick as shit, just like and like cuts him a bunch of places. Then he like throws her up against the wall, and is what is so goddamn cool about that. You then have this like mini little action sequence of tension where it's like this guy is huge and he is going to fucking kill her, but did she cut him enough that he bleeds out and loses strength before she dies? So she's sitting there like almost dying and he's bleeding, and it's like, who's gonna win out on this one? And then he falls and she just like slaps his hand away. Taylor Kitsch comes in, rescues, they go down to meet Colin Farrell, and she's like, I think I killed a guy.
Yeah.
He's like, turn the lights off. Like fucking Batman from the vaccine. God, it's so awesome. Turn the lights off.
Yeah.
And then they're driving. He's like, now we have contracts that implicate everybody or whatever. And then boom.
One of my major problems with the entire season is that I never cared at all about the Ben Casper case.
Oh, I don't care about
and
really
now
and
they didn't make us care. And now we're still going to forget the name of Ben Casper. He doesn't ultimately matter that much.
Right.
But now they do have something solid to go after the bad guys.
Right.
And now there actually is a case. Now we have not just a great episode, but we have forward momentum just barreling into the last two episodes.
Yeah, and hopefully it stays character-centric and it stays more Black Ops-y, and it keeps these tones that it was coming up with where it's just off, but just badass, and they work well together, and they're growing and dealing with shit.
Now, I don't want to overlook it. As that was unfolding, the banner episode for Vince Vaughn kept on, where he butted heads with the Mexican cartel.
Oh, yeah.
And he finally got a witness to something or other about getting his money back, which I guess that's the biggest knock against his character is, how does a guy so reasonable think that he's actually going to get his money back?
I don't know. I don't really care about.
But in any event, he ends up button heads with the Mexican cartel, and looks like they're going to war with them.
Who knows?
I don't know. But
Vince Vaughn needs to get mixed in more with the three mains. I don't care what anyone's doing unless they're in circumventing Colin Farrell.
For my money, though, it was his best line of the entire season, though, where he and the Mexicans have guns on each other. He's like,
right.
He said, well, there's one off the bucket list, a Mexican standoff with actual Mexicans.
Again, maybe that was the thing where it was too many bad lines. You don't get that one from me. I was like, whatever. But I did like Vince Vaughn a lot more in this episode. I just wish that he was involved in something more.
Yeah, well...
So we got 2 more episodes. As long as these can be... There's so much that needs to be figured out, and so much that could be if you inject some energy back into it. And what did the full moon... Like, let's make some of this shit make sense and be good.
Yeah.
God, it has the potential of being good. We still could go to Rachel McAdams' dad's place, and, you know, there still could be so much more wrung out of this.
Well, let's hope they do.
Episodes.
This was... Maybe I'm overrating it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, though.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 because I don't want to overrate it, but this was pretty badass. This was by far the best episode
of the season.
Good shit.
And I want to make a prediction where when the season ends, this will still be the best episode of the season.
Yeah, I'm worried.
Like I said, they have all the momentum. I want to see 2 amazing final episodes that are going to make me say, I'm glad I stuck with this season.
Yep.
But I think I just watched them hit their high note.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be downhill from here. I hope I'm wrong.
I do too.
Come back next week when we will tackle that episode and let you know how it turned out.
Yep. All right. We'll see you next time here on The Horror. Yeah, but